this is our furnace. It's 2100 degrees Fahrenheit. There's a bowl, 11 liter round, full of liquid glass. Yes.
Whoa, okay.
So that's what's in there, and that's how hot it is. Warming oven takes our glass to a little less than 1,000 degrees, 970 or so degrees. We can't go straight with this cold piece of glass into there because the thermal shock will make it burst apart. So we have to have somewhere, and we call that warming. We're a little skewed on our temperature concepts. Okay, warm is 1,000 for us. 2,000 is kind of hot. We don't. This machine here is called a glory hole. We refer to it as the glory hole or the glory. We don't know how hot it is. We know that it's likely hotter than our furnace because of the temperature. We don't have, because of the color, the furnace, you look at it, you know it's 2100 degrees, it's electrically controlled. You say, oh, that's hot, and it's that color. When you look at this thing, it's a lot brighter. So we think it's about 200 or 300 degrees warmer based on that. It is a reheating oven, and you'll see me go back and forth to that to get heat where I want it. Okay, glass blowing is much less about blowing than it is about chasing heat. Putting heat where you want it and taking away heat where you don't want it. This is the bench, that's where I'll be doing most of the work. Ultimately, when I finish the vase, I'm going to put it in that contraption in the corner. That's an old pottery kiln that we use for an annealing oven. The vase will sit there at about 800 degrees for a while until we're finished for the day, and then we will turn it off, and it'll cool about 1 degree a minute overnight. Tomorrow I'll be able to come back and get the top. So we have a row of blow pipes. Blow pipes are set up in our pipe warmer. Hot glass doesn't stick to cold metal. You'll see us use that to our advantage from time to time as we go through the process. So I'm going to start with a blow pipe. And in a moment I'm going to go to the furnace and get a very small quantity of clear glass on the very end. I'm going to make something that we call a collar. And this is so I can actually pick up that chunk of glass that I chipped off the. To color the glass, in this instance I'm going to be using two different techniques of chunked glass. So we'll buy our colored glass like in rods. It's about this long. Before you guys got here, I chipped off chunks of colored glass and we put them in our warming oven down here on the ground. Although this is a minute gather. You just kind of put this thing in and it's like a giant honey dipper. And as I promised, I got a tiny little bit of clear glass on the end of my pipe. It's orange like that, not because it's orange glass, but because of the heat. And I have to kind of keep the pipe turning the whole time. Otherwise, this glob of glass will fall to the floor. What I'm doing right now is I want to blow a hole straight through this gob of glass on the end of the blow pipe, making it effectively a donut on the end of the blow pipe. So, see where it's kind of open on the end? This tool that I'm using here is called jacks, or a pair of jacks. It's basically two knife blades on a spring handle that enable me to kind of manipulate the glass. You'll see me use those from time to time. This table is called a marbling table, or a marber. It's an actual tool. We believe the name came from the French word for marble, even though the Italians were the ones that did a whole lot of early on glass blowing and developing all the techniques that most of you use. I've got my collar set up, and now I'm going to go pick up that chunk of purple glass that we talked about. So you can see I picked that chunk of glass up on the end of my blow pipe. Really identify that it's purple. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just setting this up on the blow pipe. I want it to be fairly smooth and uniform. And we use the combination of the marber and another tool called a block to kind of round this off into sort of a bullet shape. And I'm going to use a block to kind of smooth it out some. This tool that I've got in my hand is called a block. And they are typically made from fruit wood. Ours are made from cherry. Fruit wood is chosen because the grain of the wood is really tight holds water really well. So once I'm satisfied that this is cooled enough, I'll be able to go back in. I need it to be able to support the weight of the glass that I'm getting next. I think we're there. So you can see my mass is quite a bit larger now, and that's because I have a nice coating of clear glass on the end. So the darker orange that you see inside of this mass is that purple glass, and the lighter on the outside is clear. So what we're going to do is once I have a bubble in this, we start to blow it up. This will, you'll be able to see the clear glass less and less. It'll be more of just the purple. It's a nifty trick to give the illusion of colored glass.
I think it's made out of transparent purple, but it's really 90% clear.
Okay, the next step in this process, I need to get some measure of bubble going. Okay, I'd like this to be reasonably easy on Dana. So we do what we call a starter bubble. Right now, this is solid glass. I'm going to get this kind of hot. And I'm going to do a nifty little trick that's called the blow-in cap. I like to call it fun with physics. What happens is I'm going to blow air into the blowpipe and cap it off while I'm blowing, and that's going to trap a measure of compressed air within the length of the blowpipe. What's going to happen, because the air is going to be superheated down here at the business end of this pipe, the air is going to have to expand and start a bubble. Sir, step on the thank you. So you can see my right hand is over the end of the blowpipe. See that? How it blows? On magic. Okay. So I've got now about a quarter size bubble. And now I'm going to wait. I made it all hot, got a starter bubble in it, and now I'm going to get another bit of glass going outside. That will be, I believe, what I will use to make these. I don't think I'll do any more.
What's your intent on your final product?
It's going to be a vase with a green accent, or blue-green kind of accent on it. The shape I'm going to shoot for is an ancient shape. It is called an amphora.
That's what you're going to shoot for.
That's what I'm shooting for. Yeah. I believe this will be cold enough. Well, it's good enough. So just think of this thing now as just a giant honey dipper. And I'm going into this big old pot of honey. Okay, I'm going to keep all this. No, I'm not. That'll give you an idea of the viscosity of this stuff. It really is a lot like molten honey. Molten honey. Honey in your refrigerator. So you've seen me use the block when it was small. You've seen me use the block now that it's larger. And in each case, I've been trying to achieve this sort of dome shape. This really facilitates gathering more glass as well as blowing a bubble. So because I let it cool, one of the things I really need to do is really try and get more heat into the mass. I'm going to do that. I also want to kind of work this shape a little bit. like water or electricity, is going to take the path of least resistance in this context. So what I want to do is I want to make the bottom of this vessel, the tip, more resistant to the airflow. And one of the ways to do that is with the margarin table. I can just put this blob of glass there and kind of cool the tip a bit. So right now I want it to blow out more near the top, up near the blowpipe, than I do at the tip. Dana is going to be supplying all the air from this point on. All right, sir, blow please. Stop. How's that feel, all right? Slow down. Good. I like hearing that.
Why does the glass stick to your rod and not to the table?
I got it hot. That's that where I picked it up from?
Yeah.
It's actually a pipe warmer. That's the first thing we built when we built this studio. And the whole idea is to keep the very tip end of the blowpipe kind of at the cherry red temperature. So, what I'm trying to do now, I've gotten some air into this piece. And my next objective is to try and pull a neck on this, on the vase, and get in what we call the jack line. My excellent assistant over there asked me if I needed a shield. Often when we're working on a piece, my hand is right over it, and under some stress and duress, this can be really a really hot maneuver. A lot of radiant heat. And sometimes a shield, just to protect my hand from the radiant heat, is a nice thing. So those of you behind me, you can kind of see how it's purple now. Okay. So I'm reasonably satisfied with that tube that I pulled in the top. Now I'm going to put in what we call a jack line. The jack line is where I'm going to encourage this vessel to break away from the blowpipe later on. So the steps are, I've got air in it. I pulled out the tube, the neck at the top, and now I can finish working on the bottom 2/3 of the vessel. Glass when it's hot, you've already seen it's pretty plastic. You've seen it just fall off the end of the blowpipe. So, with the judicious application of heat, a little bit of centrifugal force, I haven't hurt anybody yet. So I can change the shape of this vase by applying heat in the right place and then a little gravity and centrifugal force. So you can see this went from this sort of fat shape to something a little more elongated. We use a marker in this case for a little bit of help with the shape. It's still a little floppy, wonky, but I'll fix that up here in a bit. It's probably around a quarter of an inch. Get you the glow, please, sir.
Uniformly, or is it like heavier at the bottom?
It's going to be thicker at the top, actually. Stop. It's not really the best way to do it, but ultimately what's ended up happening, just at my skill level, I end up with thicker tops. I have some techniques that I'll use later on to fix that. So my job right now is to just keep my piece pretty warm, warm and happy, but I don't want it flopping around. I don't want it to move. Dana's job is to kind of keep that, get that going into a pretty pointed Christmas tree kind of shape. And we're actually going to paint that kind of greenish color on the outside of this vase. It's like a pretty purple now, isn't it? This is the official way to trade equipment and trade hot parts. I set it down on the bench, and that way Dana knows exactly where it's hot and where it's not. This part of the game is all about temperature control. I want this to be pretty much screaming hot all the way through to the core. Dana wants that to be screaming hot on the 0.5 millimeter surface so that this glass will stick when we do our little maneuver. So we're going to go ahead and do this decoration now. So Dana just blasts that for a little while. Wants to make sure that sticks real well. So now we're going to do this part of the operation that's called transfer. It's very dynamic. It's exciting. I've got a base going here, but I got this big old nasty piece of metal sticking out of the top of it. Dan has got what we call a step-down punty. It's got a little blob of clear glass on the end. He's making what we call a punty. And in a moment, we will be puntying up. He will bring that to me, and I will stick it on the bottom of this vase, and then I will visit the jack line with a couple of drops of water and tap the blowpipe, and that will cause the vessel to break away from the blowpipe, but remain attached over there. I have a few seconds where things are pretty hot, and I can kind of move it around, make sure it's where I want it. That's pretty good, right? A couple of drops of water on that jack line. And a tap on the blowpipe, and away we go. Now it's not the most glamorous break off at the top, and it's also a little thicker than I want. bit and I'll trim it, even it out, and then I'm going to fold the lip open. Jay has been a fan. He's come to see me blow a lot of times. And he came, and I was working on a purple bowl. And I broke the bottom out, and I broke it off the punch. And Jay says, that's okay, just put some duct tape on it, nobody will know the difference. So, guess what Jay got for Christmas? I put some duct tape on it, filled it with potpourri.
I'll show it to you.
So again, when the glass is really plastic like this, I can affect some changes. A lot of people go, ooh, leave that, but I don't like that. I have a set of shears over there that I'm going to just snip that away and trim it off fairly even. Fire polishing operation. I'm going to make the opening a bit larger, and we're going to polish off the top. So, some people say this is a lot like pottery. In some ways it is. It's just horizontal. I'm at the last step right now. I'm going to go ahead and flare this lip a little bit and finish this thing out and then put it away. Alright. On, yes sir. So now I'm going to do what we call a flash and box, and this is kind of even out the heat a little bit. We will, Dana's going to catch it over there, so if I can get over there, please. That's a good plan. So just like we broke it off at the jack line, I'm going to use a little drop of water here on this punchy on the bottom, and it's going to create the same kind of fracture across the punchy. A E-bonk.
That's one way to do it.
Yep, you got it. That's how one makes a purple vase.
That's so cool. So you have to be able to put a top. Oh no, you
Yeah,
can.
like a glass stopper.
Yeah, yeah, but
Actually, you don't
mark it
even
up.
need it.
I want